Sorry for the delay in getting this video out, but we took a road trip up to Colorado to do a little bit of elk hunting. So it was a nice, relaxing trip, and I'll be doing a video on that shortly. Okay, got both front shocks on the bench, in the shade. This is the left. I've got it marked right here, left. And interesting, the reason you need to know that, maybe you don't, but this is where you charge it with air, and on the left side it faces out, but on the right side it faces in. So this is the passenger side. This nipple is going to be facing in, but if I mark this as the outside, so this is the outside of the right. So that's important to remember when I put it back together, I put the truck back together. But right now what I'm going to do is get the spring off. It's just oh good. We have a little thing. Okay. That because I'll flip this around. This little thing, gotta love these things. They hold it all together during fabrication. But right now it's kind of a pain. So I guess that's that part off. Left side. I'll put all this back, keep it all together. What do I do with them? There it is. So we know this is the left. Right. So all of this is staying. On the end of that one. See that? That's probably a good thing I brought it apart. Hard to see it, but this top plate's angled, so that's why left, right, in, out, whatever. But, okay, this is the right. It's not really that I like wearing plastic gloves when I'm doing this kind of thing, but it sure makes it a lot easier for cleanup of my hands and later at the end of the day. Got the two bigger holes are for the wrench. These are bleed valves for the inner and outer reservoir. So I'm going to bleed those two screws. I learned that from the front shocks. So okay, so I got this bolted up in the vise, and it's able to swivel. So I'm going to see what I can do about that. I may have to take the bushing out of the bottom of it. Let's see what that looks like. It'll lay over right there like that. Okay, so we got these two little bitty. These holes are nothing but for the wrench. These two are the ones I need to work on. They're small. Two millimeter to be precise. See the fluid coming out? There we go. It stinks. What I'll do is I'm going to leave this over. I'm going to crack that open and just let it bleed. And it'll bleed fluid. Quite a lot of fluid actually. Everything I'm going to do is, I had to do this on the other class. This has got to come out. This is an Allen screw. And behind it is the little rubber plug that you stick the needle through to put the nitrogen inside this shock. But I'm going to do just like I did on the back, and I'm going to thread this and put the Traeger valve in there like a tire, so a tire drill can be used to air it up. And in persuasion, but the last time I had to use a little drill bit and drill this hard rubber, the hard plastic. There it is. They used like a bicycle needle, like or basketball needle, and they stuck it right in that hole and aired it up. There's a rubber diaphragm that you poke through, and it's supposed to be self-heating. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but there's still pull that out. This is a metric. This is not a metric. This is a standard. This is a 3/16, I think. I'll tell you in a minute, but it's not a metric. And this is the one you want to be careful of, because I still hear nitrogen releasing. So if I screw too far, it'll blow everything out. There it goes. Poof. So the nitrogen, so everything seems to be, let's see, there's the Allen cap with the hole in it, so you can put the needle in it. And this is the little plug, the little rubber plug that you job the needle through to air it up, and then it's self-sealing. But anyway, obviously it still had nitrogen, you heard it. And it still has oil, so now the real fun starts. Let's put that right there. This is not good. This is going to be super tight. I guarantee it. There we go. Got that in there. Turn down the music. I like working with music, but I know it messes up the audio. So, I lost my pry bar, so I've got this drop hitch just to give me a little extra length, is what you need, because this thing is just so hard to do. Got it. No telling what happened to my pry bar. Now I just unscrew this. Round and round she goes. Now my intent here is to capture the amount of fluid that is in this shock so I know how much to put back. So I'm trying to reach down and get a container that I can pour the oil over into, shock fluid, and then measure it. Now I calculated that I lost probably about 1 ounce just on all the components. What leaked out, what dribbled around. But this actually worked pretty well. Now I had to get a container that was graduated so I could pour it in there and read it off. It ended up being, I believe it ended up being 13 ounces. know how much now. This is fluid. That's what we're going to go with. That's one way of measuring it. Okay. We'll need one other thing I need. Inside here, and it's not easy to see, there is a floating piston seal. So there's nitrogen on the bottom and oil on the top. And I'm going to measure how down from the top, how far down that is. And that is every bit. It's 11 and wow, right at 11 inches. That's how far down in that cylinder is. So. Okay, now. It's really important that all that stays in the same orientation and together in the same manner. It's a lot of pieces to that. Just so you can kind of see what's down in there, you can kind of see what that looks like. That's got to come out because there's O-rings on it. I'm going to blow some air down there to get that to come out. Now this took me about 30 minutes to figure out. It's fast forwarded here so you don't see it, but the lock ring is very hard to see, and if you do not remove that lock ring, that piston will not come out of that cavity. So I fiddled with this thing for, like I said, 30 minutes or so, and then I finally figured it out. Here's a closer look at what that looks like. So the piston's pushed down all the way to the bottom of the shock body. And you can just see the lock ring just underneath the lip of that blue shock body. That's what holds the piston in place, the lock ring and the piston in place. What I was able to do is take a long screwdriver with the piston pushed all the way to the bottom, a long screwdriver, and push the ring like this so it's a little swings down. Now here you can see my motorcycle strap I used to hold the shock over at an angle, and then I just took a little grabber that I have, stuck down in there and grabbed that lock ring and pulled it right out. Once you've got the lock ring out of the way, the air pressure blows the piston right out. Really simple and easy, so it doesn't take much. So I would suggest using light pressure, not quite as much as I did. It blew it out pretty hard. And it is pretty nasty, grungy and slimy down inside there. You can see the sludge in the bottom of that chamber. Okay, I finally got the piston off. Ooh, it's got a nick out of it too. That's not good. I don't like that. I'll just file that quite smooth. It must have got... Oh, I know what it did. But there's some junk in there. It's a good thing I got it out. That thing is nasty inside that chamber. So we'll get all this cleaned up. We'll get this replaced. But the key to getting this out was this thing. I have no idea how it's going to go back in. It's a little lock ring and it's down inside here a long ways. Okay. Big ugly. And a wear band. See this wear band? So it doesn't look too bad. But so that's what came out of that, off of that. And I'm going to take a file and I'm going to hit that and clean it up. So what it ended up doing is taking a little file and just filing it smooth. That aluminum back to smooth on top, didn't hurt the edges. Worked out well. But just something to remember. Be careful when you're blowing that apart. Now, just like on the rear shocks, getting these wipers out of this blue nut, probably one of the hardest parts about it. You're going to tear up that inner one when you try to pull it out. If you need a little better idea of how this is put together, how these seals all fit together inside this nut, you can go back and watch the video I did for the rear shocks, where I actually did a little drawing and showed you how this all went together. It's exactly the same for the front shocks as it was for the rear. And the third seal is even further down inside there and harder to get out. And be careful with the bearing surface to the inside of this nut. You don't want to scratch that up or mar that. But once you pop this seal out, then you're just able to clean it up and put the new ones back in. And that one goes in with the lip facing into the shock. Just like that. And that goes in. So 1, 2, 3. Now I'm just wiping everything down and cleaning it all up, getting ready to put it back together. So making sure all the O-rings are taken off and sorted, and that everything is cleaned up with the old oil and kind of gunk that's built up on the pistons and parts. This is the wear band. Wear band that is pretty much wore out. And this little O-ring. Now it's just a matter of matching up the new O-rings and seals with the old ones in preparation for rebuilding. And that is it for the teardown of one of these shocks. In the next video, we will be taking all the new components and rebuilding the shocks, filling it with fluid and bleeding it out and pressurizing it, and then getting it back on the truck. As always, thanks for watching, and let me know if you think I missed something or you need more clarification.